Okay, so now I will go through basically this question on this is question 18. I think most of you have issue with doing part 2, so I'll be going through part 2. So basically the idea is that we're supposed to find R2. The If you look at part 2, right, actually there is a small trick to solving part 2. That is, before we actually even start to find R2, we can manipulate this algebraic fraction first. So 1 over R, right, can be written, I mean, if I were to treat like algebra, I combine it into one fraction before I go about solving it. So you can see if I were to bring my R1 to the left hand side, that's possible as well, right? And after which, you notice if I were to just change it to R1 minus R over R of R1, this is basically combining my left hand side into one fraction, treating R and R1 as two different variables. This is 1 over R2, and just by flipping the fraction, R2 can be written as basically R multiplied by R1 over R1 minus R. Okay, so if you do this, right, then you don't have to worry too much about dividing certs, or you start to worry. Okay, so with that, we'll go about subbing our terms in. So R, the first one, okay, I'll go about summing my terms. There'll be 1 over 10, 6 square root 2, plus 7 square root 3. Okay, R1, which is the first one that we found earlier. This one, huh? Okay, this is R1. Sorry, where's R1? R1 is, okay, over here. Okay, so you found R1. R1 is multiplied. Okay, so this 3 square root 2 plus square root 3 over R1 minus R. So R1 again is 3 square root 2 plus square root 3 minus R. So R 6 square root 2 plus 7 square root 3 over 10. Okay, so now if you find this fraction very hard to deal with, then just slowly go to it part by part. One of the way in which I can go about doing it is I just multiply the whole fraction by 10 over 10. So you can see if I have a fraction in a fraction, right? If I have this fraction in a fraction, one way I can do is I can just multiply, perhaps maybe to get rid of the fraction in a fraction, I can multiply by 10 over 10. So this 10 will cancel out with this, and this 10 will multiply with this to again cancel it off, and this will become basically 30 over square root 2 plus 10 square root 3. Okay, now this is a common mistake. A lot of you forget that around a fraction, right, there's actually a bracket. So do take note that this is not a plus. The moment you remove the bracket, this is actually a minus. So take note that you are actually subtracting the whole fraction, which means that there's a bracket, and this is actually a minus sign. Okay, so when you write it out, it's a minus sign. For the top, 6 square root 2 to 3 square root 2, 6 and 3 will give you 18. You end up with 36. Second one, 6 square root 2, 6 square root 3, you end up with 6 square root 6. 7 square root 3, you end up with 21 square root 6. 7 times 3, 21, square root 3, square root 2, square root 6. The last one, 7 square root 3 times square root 3, you end up with 21 as well. Okay, so this is what you will see, and it's actually not so bad. Okay, so with that, combining my constant and constant, I have 36 plus 21, that's 57. 6 square root 6, 21 square root 6. Combining them together, I have 27 square root 6. Okay, my denominator, I combine them together as well. I look for the terms to combine. 30 square root 2, 6 square root 2, I get 24 square root 2. 10 square root 3, 7 square root 3, I get 3 square root 3. Okay, and with that, let's try to, it is possible to simplify this further, or basically you just go ahead to do the conjugate. That is okay as well. That's perfectly fine as well. I think if you look at this, it's possible to simplify. So we always try to simplify on the go as much as possible. So if you divide all by 3, I believe you can actually cancel divide all by 3. So you will divide all by 3, this will become 8, this will become 1, this will become 9, So become 19. So you get a very nice and smaller number even before you start to apply the conjugate. So I mean the smaller the number the better mah, correct or not? So you have less things to work with. Okay, then with that okay, let me just move this away, move this up. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead to bring in my conjugate only after my cert is beautiful. So bring in my conjugate, 8 square root 2 minus square root 3. The conjugate of my denominator, 8 square root 2 minus square root 3. Okay, 19 times 8. Let me see. Okay, so just go down these steps and you should be able to get your answer. Right, just go ahead to go about doing the working. You should be able to get your working as square root 3 minus square root 2. Okay, so that's the explanation for part 2. Is the mainly the working is just tedious lah. Okay, but you should be able to do it. Okay, so good luck.